Hi Kerith family, I hope you're well today. I hope that the sun is still shining where you are. I'm in K2 at the moment and looking out the window, the sun is still shining and I hope the heat is still with you guys as well. Off the back of this last Sunday where I spoke in Bracknell and Sandhurst, I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to share some ideas on what you might want to do in your small groups if you're in a small group right now, or maybe if you're on your own right now and you're wanting to process or respond to what we went through on Sunday. On Sunday, I spoke about this message. The title of it was Expect God to Show Up. And we looked at 1 Samuel chapter 3, between verses 1 and 10, about the story of Eli and Samuel and how Samuel heard from God and the way that kind of played out and the way that Eli actually helped Samuel to listen to God. And we talked about this idea of what it is to expect God to speak, to expect God to reveal himself. And so what I'd love you to do at first, whether on your own and you want to scribble things down or ponder it in your mind, or whether you are in a group and want to share it out loud, is to start by going, what were the 6 points that we looked at from this passage? What were those 6 points? See if you can remember them and which ones stuck out to you in your memory and why. Maybe there were certain points that kind of struck a chord with you for some reason. Maybe you want to share what those points were and why they were important to you. And then next, off the back of that, what would be great is in your small group is to go, or even if you're on your own and want to ponder this, is how does God speak to you? How do you tend to hear from God? And maybe you want to share some stories. Maybe you want to kind of encourage one another and share with one another some sort of advice around that of how does God speak to you? Particularly, maybe you've been a Christian for a long, long time and have heard God many times before. Or maybe you are new to faith and new to this Christian stuff and you're like, this is how I feel God might be speaking to me in these early days. What would be great is to just share some stories with one another, to encourage one another and build each other up. And then lastly, what would be great for you to do is to go, okay, wherever we're at in our journey, how can we kind of up our game in expecting God to reveal himself? Whether in church on a Sunday, but maybe in your small group setting, how can you be raising your game to expect God to show up there? And maybe on your own as individuals as well, how might you in your individual lives increase that expectation that God will and does, and he does speak to us and he will reveal himself? How might we increase our expectation for that? So I hope you have a really rich time together. I hope it's helpful and building one another up and supporting one another in this journey in the same way that Eli helped Samuel to hear from God. I really believe that in these communities, these small group communities that we have in our church, that we can encourage one another and build each other up and teach one another to listen to God and to respond to what he might be saying to us. So God bless you this week and I'll see you soon.